What's good, people? Uh, Jeff coming back to you here. I know it's been a while. Uh, Combinational factors into why that is. One, I started playing with this OBS program, and I was making a video one day, and I went to do the playback, and I couldn't get audio out of it. I've played with settings. I didn't know what it was. So right now, I'm just back on the camera mode on the good old laptop. Uh, I've been having, well, for starters, it's been over 2 years since I put a video out. Uh, I've just been busy with life. Got sick of being banned and videos removed, and then technical difficulties with the programs. And it's been a while. But over these past few years, I've been having quite a few people ask me questions around cancers and diseases and disorders. So I've been telling them I'll make a video to my 5 root causes. Something I created just over decades of research. I've narrowed it down to 5 root causes being the contributing factors to all cancers, all diseases, all disorders. And they fall in variable depending on the individual. Because something our medical establishments don't do is individually analyze the person, treat them as a terranium, which meaning individual ecosystem, which is basically what these 5 root causes come back to. All right, so I'll just jump off and go into one. One is dehydration. The body lacking hydrogen content to convert into plasma. Plasma being the energy filled in our blood for our red cells and our white cells to do their jobs of rebuilding, removing dead cells, cleaning any foreign contaminants. So dehydration, what's the word mean? It means to lack hydrogen. Now, just going back to some basic science that we learn in school, the majority of the body is water. Roughly 75% of the body is water, hydrogen and oxygen molecules. Okay, well, we know water is 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. So out of the 75%, 2/3 of that is hydrogen. Hydrogen is the most significant molecule to the human body. That's indisputable. So if we don't have hydrogen, our body cannot create plasma. And to make plasma, there's 2 sides, 2 things make plasma. That's an electrical current and a hydrogen coming together to create a combustion. That creates plasma. Just like a plasma ray or a plasma beam. If you study into it, from micro to macro, it's the same universal formula. Okay, so one is being dehydration. And just throw an example out there how the medical establishment know this, but don't educate or inform the populace to the significance of it. When a person is sick and they go into an emergency room, the ER, and you're visibly sick and having biological symptoms, right? What's the first thing they tell you? They'll tell you that you're dehydrated. And what do they want to do? Administer an IV PICC line. So what is the solution? They're directly injecting into your bloodstream. It's called saline. Saline is merely salt water. And if you study in the chemistry of adding salt to water, it raises the pH. pH being potential hydrogen. So it increases the potential hydrogen molecules in the substance by putting salt in the water. So they're directly injecting salt water, aka hydrogen-rich water, into your bloodstream. They know this as far as the higher ups. Now the administrators, the one putting the needle in your arm, might not fully comprehend this, but they're indoctrinated to blindly do this protocol. Okay, so dehydration, body lacking hydrogen content. That's the number one. That's the most significant. Number two is malnutrition, demineralization, the body lacking the minerals, the physical part of our cells resides in the minerals. Minerals is what we extract from food, supposed to anyways, but we eat highly processed foods, and what's the word process mean? It's put through these machines, and they are stripped of the hydrogen, the water content. They're stripped of the mineral content. They're stripped of the energy content. Okay, so demineralization is number two. Deficiencies. The body's lacking the physical minerals to repair and rebuild new cells. That's two. Number three is de-energization. The body not having the electrical current. And see, there's many interpretations in words based around this, like magnetism, or the magnetic field around the body. In religion, they would call it a halo, or they'd call it an aura, or they'd call it a spirit. But down to the basis, it's the energy field around our body. And just as an example, I'm 40, so I remember the rabbit ear antennas on the television, right? And we be sitting there watching TV, and the TV start to go staticky. One of us get up to go adjust the antenna, and we get about 5 feet from it, and the picture would clear back up. And that is because the antenna was using our magnetic field, our aura, our soul, our spirit, to pull energy into that antenna, to boost it, to pull signal. Okay, so the energy field around our body. And the root cause to this is because, all right, let me explain it like this. The human body is a battery with an energy field to it that has to be charged and discharged. Okay, the discharging is all the minute and micro actions and reactions that are internal. Our neurological system is an electrical system. This is the where one of the uses of the energy field gets done. It's the charging of the blood, homeostasis, the creation of plasma. These are different uses, the immunity responses, the cellular regeneration, the detoxification. These are all different uses of the electric field. Now, the cause to why we are de-energized is because we are not grounded. We wear these things on our feet that are called shoes. And on the bottom of the shoes, we have soles. Okay? These are soul blockers. The soul that's around your body, it blocks it from pulling in negative ions. The body needs negative ions from the earth to be able to absorb vitamin D3 from the sun. It's that yin and yang. It's that balance. It's the duality. We need both of them. And there's a scientific experiment you can look up, research live blood analysis grounding, and it'll show you. Well, at least if you look hard enough, you'll find this doctor that's knowledgeable to this information, and he's applying it and showing it in real time using an electron microscope to show people what their blood looked like. So the way this video went, this lady come into his doctor's office, and he basically sat there and asked her a wide variety of questions, your dietary consumption, your daily activities, stress factors, things you're going through in life. And he said, now I want to show you something. I'm going to take a drop of your blood and put it under this slide. And then I'm going to put the slide under this electron microscope and show you this image of what your blood looks like on this television screen. So he does that. And all of her red cells were stacked up on top of each other. This is called a Roy-X effect. And he said, now I'm going to have you do something, and then I'm going to have you come back to me. What I'm going to have you do, I'm going to have you take your shoes off. I want you and your husband to go outside, and there's a big field in front. Walk that whole field, go down to that tree, come back to me. Put your feet on that grass, and just conversate with your husband. Keep your mind in a good place. Talk about your grandkids. Talk about, things you enjoy. So she does this and comes back. He says, now I'm going to take another drop of your blood and I'm going to do this again. And I'm going to show you the change of what you putting your feet on that ground and having a positive outlook can do for your internal systems. So he takes the blood, puts it on a slide, puts it in an electron microscope, and he shows her, and the red blood cells had stopped stacking. They started unstacking and was repelling and free-flowing like they're supposed to. This proves grounding allowed for her body to create the field in the blood for the red cells to be comfortable enough to do their movements. We might not be able to see the action and reactions of what the cell does, but what it's doing, if a red blood cell is energized, oxygenated, and mineralized. Yeah, energized, oxygenated, mineralized. It becomes a productive cell, which is known as mitochondria. Mitochondria is the rebuilders. Mitochondria is the addressers to cancer. Homeostasis is the balancement of the blood, the hydrogen. So it's about restoring homeostasis and creation of mitochondria. That's where we start. Okay, so first one is dehydration. Second one is demineralization. Third one is de-energization. Fourth one is toxicity. It's because of the first three the body does not have that the body becomes toxified. The body cannot efficiently cleanse itself. Therefore, it stores these toxins. And these toxins are the root causes to the cancers, to the diseases, to the disorders. But it stems from those first three. Now, the fifth one is just as important as the first one because it's our thoughts. Thought-induced biochemistry is number 5 because our body responds accordingly to our thought processing. You can look up something called the placebo effect. It's just basically that doctors did an experiment on 10 individuals that all had the same alignment, and they gave 5 of them a pharmaceutical that addressed that alignment, and then the other 5 they gave sugar pills and made them think they took the same pharmaceutical. Okay, there was a better success rate on the one that took the sugar pill, which I'm not going to get into the depth of that one because I'm not addressing the pharmaceutical industry. That's a whole well of a fallacy. But my point being is their bodies respond accordingly to their thought processing. They believed that this was going to help them, which every cell in your body has a consciousness to it. Most just aren't conscious to it. So if you have an issue, a specific issue, consciously communicate with that area of the body. Acknowledge some of these things that I'm saying and tell the body, I'm bringing you hydrogen to create this plasma. I'm charging you. I'm going to mineralize you. We're going to cleanse ourselves. And the body will respond accordingly. Because what happens in modern day society is most are driven by fear, and they don't even know it. Because when the body is in a fearful state, a sad state, a depressed state, a stressed state, an anxiety, a state of anxiety, it goes into what's called fight or flight mode. And the body basically detects an external issue that's a threat, an immediate threat to the embodiment. What it does, it creates cortisol and adrenaline. Now, originally we were in the wild, as a species. We was living amongst the wild animals, and basically the individual would either have to fight like a tiger or a lion or a bear, or run from the threat. Therefore, the body is designed to shut off the internal systems like immunity responses, cellular regeneration, and detoxification are the main systems that turn off. And what it does, it takes the oxygen and energy it would have used for those things and reverts that energy to creation of the mitochondria, or the mitochondria. It converts that energy and that uses to the external abilities. Like you hear a mom that was in a car wreck and her car is pinning her child, and she gets these superhuman strengths and picks this 2,500-pound car up off of her child. Okay, well, what the body's doing? It's creating cortisol, adrenaline, and adrenaline, once oxygenated, turns to adrenochrome, which gives us godly abilities. And I could get into conspiracy theories around adrenochrome in itself, but that's another dark tunnel that I'm not going to travel down on this specific video. I'm going to keep it on point. So, point being is, a positive outlook makes the world a difference. Literally. So, if an individual, and this is where, when I do advising, I have to take the individual and I have to ask them specific questions, like things that you're going through in life, stress factors, pharmaceuticals you might be on, organs they might have cut out of you that they told you were useless. There's no point to them. The appendix, the spleen, the gallbladder, tonsils, etc., etc. So I'm going to go back to my motto system and end it on this. Knowledge is key. Your health is your foundation. Your beliefs are your success, and your wisdom is your power. Now, the knowledge is key, I began it with, because to seek knowledge, the etymology breakdown is knowing ledgers. Ledgers being records of previous experiences, whether it's a story being told or a book you read. Okay, these are people jotting down and recording his story. So an individual can learn from instead of having to experience it. And this is why knowing ledgers are the key. This is where we become informed. Informed is another one I like. That's the etymology: in meaning to enclose, form meaning to mold or shape, ation being an action. It's the action of molding and shaping internal. Okay, now, point being, knowledge is key. It starts it with that. Health is foundation. Okay, that's the physical embodiment. Your physical health is built off of nutrition, this is the 5 parts I was explaining: the hydrogenation, the oxygenation, the mineralization, the energization, and the positive thought processing, right? But that also ties into belief of success that I explained. What you believe you will receive unbiasedly. The body responds accordingly. Consciousness over the mind is one of the keys. So knowledge is key, health is foundation, belief is success, right? Seek knowledge over your physical body and your mental mind, and then you gain wisdom. And that is where your true power is. Because when you apply said knowledge around your mind and your body, you manifest the reality you want. This is our greatest God-given ability. Hence, I'm not going to go deep into it, but I'm a minister, have been since 2016, but I'm very unorthodox. That's because I've studied a lot of other books, like the Nag Hammadi Library and the Dead Sea Scrolls and the Emerald Tablets and the Bhagavad Gita and the Torah and so on and so forth. And they're all different systems of taking. They're all turned into almost a tool, except for, I would say, Buddhism, and even some systems around that is turned into a tool. But Buddhism is literally just self-mastering. And this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying being conscious over your mind and your body to manifest the reality you seek. Conan quit. So, I'll end it on that. There's the 5 root causes. Address those 5 root causes. I don't care what cancer you have. I don't care what disease or what disorder. You know, I mean, once you get into what organs you're missing, your body's not going to have certain functions, but you can still cleanse yourself and rebalance homeostasis and create mitochondria. So, knowledge is key. Your health is your foundation. Your beliefs are your success, and your wisdom is your power. I hope all create blessed days for themselves, and I love you guys. One love.